Hello friends, welcome to the Karma Box channel.
Stomach up to 4 liters. Did you know that it can store nutrients? That's the size of 2 Coke bottles. Wow, this is incredible. In this video, our stomach nutrients from mouth and esophagus. We'll see how you melt it. Now let's look at the stomach. Haha, let me zoom in a little bit closer. Let's see what this organ does. There are 3 steps that the stomach is responsible for. Indigestion receives nutrients primarily from the esophagus above. The food here is ready to be digested. Our foods that have become lumps to digest food more. The stomach does 2 things here. The first thing it does is mix the foods. The muscular walls of the stomach help crush food, and it helps to break it down even more. Besides, hydrolysis also occurs to a certain degree. Hydrolysis, that is, the breakdown of food, with the help of enzymes. We will talk about which enzyme it is later. After doing all this, a product called chyme is obtained, chyme of broken down foods. This is the state after mixing. This includes enzymes and fluids used by the stomach. After this stage, the food is left to wait for a while, because the stomach also stores nutrients. Our stomach's chymus is sent to the 12th intestine to be digested. That is, until it sends it to the first part of the small intestine. Stores food. Because of this, we can store 2 to 4 volumes of food. So what is the anatomy of the stomach? How does it secrete these enzymes? How do we break down food? So let's take a look at the anatomy here. For food breakdown, let's see together how the stomach takes responsibility inside your stomach. We can imagine that it is covered with these folds. These folds on the stomach front helps increase surface area. And actually, there is a layer of cells here. This layer secretes most components of gastric fluid and is in harmony with many important components. The most basic thing we need to remember about the stomach: 3 cell types here. The first cell type we will talk about is the parietal cell. Parietal. The main substance secreted from cells is hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid. It is a type of acid that is even more corrosive than battery acid. The second type of cells are principal cells. These cells secrete an enzyme called pepsinogen. This is the inactive state of the enzyme. So pepsinogen is not active for hydrolysis to occur. One enzyme called pepsine is needed. So how is Pepsi produced? You need Pepsi logo for this. Let's also point this out. The gene suffix indicates that an item is ready to be processed. So it means it's almost okay. Pepsi's nail polish turning into Pepsi, and for later use in hydrolysis. To activate this protein, hydrochloric acid is needed to break down. If there was always pepsine or hydrochloric acid in the stomach, what would happen? What do you think would happen to our stomach? He'd probably eat himself alive, right? So you have a cell membrane with a good amount of protein. It's also very corrosive that wears out your stomach. There is an acidic substance. This is how stomach ulcers happen. But of course, not all of us have ulcers. There's still work in the pits over there. What substance do you think prevents us from getting stomach ulcers? Third cell type: mucus cells. As their name suggests, these cells secrete mucus. This means that substances such as hydrochloric acid or pepsin to prevent damage to the stomach is the substance that surrounds the stomach. Without mucus cells, we would eat ourselves alive. In short, our stomach is very muscular, mixes and breaks down food with its wall. Also there, where we use Pepsi to dissolve food, there is one chemical process that takes place. Pepsi's, it breaks down only one type of nutrients on its own. Protein binds amino acids together, breaks peptide bonds. The reason he does this, protein macromoly, is to break down the ashes. In other words, the only nutrient that is dissolved in our stomach is protein. When we hydrolyze a certain amount of protein until it is sent to the intestine of 12, we produce thymus, which is stored in the stomach. Well, that's how our stomach works.